So the exhibition design process starts quite far in advance. We would commence by the curator, the director and myself all getting around the table, looking at the artwork, thinking about what the visual identity will look like, testing colours, picking wall colours for instance. We quite like to choose wall colours that have longevity beyond a 6-month period, so we have to be quite intentional with that choice. For instance, the maritime teal that we used for both the Kenwood and the Stanley Spencer exhibition, while the colour was exactly the same on the walls, it made both sets of artwork look completely different. We'll also discuss font, which again takes a bit of research to understand, what kind of era the exhibition sits within. During this meeting, we'll also set up a kind of schedule and timeline of when we all need to meet our deadlines and how we need to deliver as a team to make sure we hit all of those key dates. Sometimes stakeholders require certain information at certain points as well, so we need to kind of make sure we've got key design elements sort of set out quite early on. This meeting then kind of shapes the design process moving forward, for instance, for the catalogue, for the exhibition design itself, for the marketing assets, things like the lead image is chosen, which then that image is shown throughout the entire season as the kind of beacon for that exhibition. Well, the design process itself has been essentially a standardized system that's been created and developed over the last 3 years to ensure that if we don't have a lot of time to play around and be creative with what that looks like on the walls, it just means that I can use a template that means I can work quite quickly and ensure I can continue to meet those deadlines. There's still a lot of flexibility within these templates, so we've recently been experimenting with invisible labels where you kind of match the label to the wall colour and then use a contrast on the font colour so it sort of looks like the text is coming out of the wall rather than having that stark contrast of a kind of white label next to, a piece of artwork. The process for me is all about typesetting, so I have the privilege of kind of seeing the exhibition text and living with it for a couple of weeks and really drilling into the detail of, style formats, how we format dates, ensuring that everything's italicized, using our kind of artist, title, date, medium, owner format. For me, there's also quite a lot of testing. Working on site, again, is really, really crucial because I oftentimes need to print out a label to double check that the colours are working with the wall or the other artworks. There's a lot of measuring that happens to ensure that everything's scaled correctly with our elevations. And essentially, my key role in all of this is to liaise with our producers and installers who will work with me to ensure that the work that I've designed then can become a physical thing that can be installed. This process can feel quite tedious because it's bringing together all of the little details and making sure that nothing has been missed off the list, because even one missing label can ruin the whole thing.